Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello and welcome to Footy Judge Mo people. Ramadan Mubarak to everyone that is starting fasting today, of course. How's everybody doing? Post game, post the best game of the season. I'm not sure if it's the best game of the season because Michael Oliver bottled it, ruined it. Liverpool should have had a penalty in the 98th minute. But listen, we'll talk about the game. We'll talk about Pep Guardiola and his choices of a lineup with Nobbins, of course. He's not happy and he didn't look happy yesterday. And Tom, of course, here to tell us all about them being favorites for the title, other than the underdog story that the other Liverpool fans wanted to run. So if you're watching this now, hit that like button. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure to like the video before you go on, because we're in for a fantastic show. And also we'll see if Arsenal actually are because I've seen this circling around that Arsenal are actually favorites to win the title. It is circling around Twitter. Arsenal fans are confident going to the Etihad that they can get a result. They are confident that Liverpool will drop points somewhere, somehow. And they are confident that their team is actually the strongest team in the league at the current moment. And we'll talk about this as well. But tomorrow, they have the Porto game, which is, I think it's pivotal in their season because they need to go to the quarterfinal to keep the momentum going. But we're here first to start. Of course, there is only one place to start. So you guys like the damn video, and then let's get into it, right? I'm going to start actually. I know people want to start with the penalty. I just want to get your opinion quickly without even any explanation. Do you guys think it was a penalty at all? Just yes or no?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So we have two people agreeing with each other on the panel for the first time about a decision like this, where everyone told me yesterday, even Liverpool fans told me yesterday that it wasn't a penalty. Somehow. I don't know how. I don't know how can someone look at this and say it's not a penalty. So, talking about the game itself, I'm going to ask Nobbins, did the players let Guardiola down, or was it Guardiola's fault?
Pep set us up to fail. Alvarez at left wing is insane. Not playing Kovacic was insane. Foden being deployed as Jesus Navas was insane. That is my summary of the game from a City perspective. Obviously, Liverpool were very good. I'm sure Tom will talk about the Liverpool side. Obviously, we'll credit Liverpool. Liverpool were very good, deserved winners, regardless of penalty incidents. They were just the better side. But obviously, as a City fan, I've got to look at it from a City perspective, and I've got to look at that Liverpool team. And it's not obviously Kwanzaa isn't bad. Kelleher isn't bad. Elliott isn't bad. These are still very good players. However, it's not unfair to say they are not starters. It's not unfair to say that City should have looked at that team and gone, not that this is going to be a breeze, but that we should now be the favourites based on the lineups alone. To be honest, and maybe you can say it's me underestimating, as I say, the likes of Bradley, etc. And as I say, still very good players, but a big step down from the likes of Alisson and Trent and Salah, etc., etc. And City are basically at full strength, minus Grealish, basically at full strength. We should have looked at that side and gone, right, we're behind in the title race. Are we going to have a better chance to win at Anfield? The answer to that is no. And what we did with that opportunity was knack all after the 15th minute. That is what happened in the game. I like the first 10-15 minutes. I think we flustered Liverpool a little bit, but then they adjusted. And then from there, they were just in total control of the game. I think that's the first time this season we've had less than 50% of the ball. It was a game where we had to go out there and control the crowd, control the opponent, and we literally played into their hands. We did the opposite of that. And it took until nearly the 70th minute for Guardiola to realise the error of his ways. He said it post-match, in a Sky interview. He kept saying, oh, yeah, we didn't have any control, so I had to bring on Kovacic for control. Then why did it take you 70 minutes to make that decision? If I could see it immediately, if I could see it before a ball had been kicked, then Pep would have seen it because he's infinitely smarter than me. So I don't know why that was the case. But yeah, Liverpool deserves to win.
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you on this. And big up the people that joined from This Is Football, of course. Guys, big up the people that joined from This Is Football from Ossam's stream. Like the video while you're spamming the chat, of course, guys. Like the video. And of course, Juventus are a bigger team than Inter, bigger fan base. And they had way more titles than us. The only thing we have on them is a treble and an extra Champions League. So thank you, everybody. Juventus are bigger than Inter. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you. You won 1-0 the chat. 1-0 the chat, of course. Yeah, you guys know that. Absolutely. Nobbins, I'm going to challenge you on what you said. Okay?
Okay.
I said that yesterday. We have to reach a conclusion here, Nobbins. Pep Guardiola set up the team. And I'm going to ask some small questions. I don't want Tom to elaborate on it. Julian Alvarez, Tom, wasn't he one of the most dangerous players in the first 15 minutes behind Conor Bradley and received the ball many, many times behind Conor Bradley on the transition, on the counter-attack?
He received the ball, but I don't think he was. I wasn't threatened. But
Exactly.
yeah, he received the ball. Yeah.
But he received it in the areas where you want, as a coach, you want your player to receive the ball in that area. You want your winger to go in that area. My point that I want to reach is with Nobbins is that Julian Alvarez received the ball in areas where the coach wanted him to be. So he failed. It's not that failed. If I'm putting the player in the right place as a coach, and I think that, and Julian Alvarez is not new that he plays on the sides. He played on the right side before. He played on the left side before, right? So it's not new to him. So I want to reach a conclusion. Can Julian Alvarez be a starter for Manchester City?
Not in the biggest games, not when everyone else is fit, not if you want an optimal team, because he's not a winger. He's played
So
one
what
game
is
this
he?
a second striker. That's what he is.
But nobody plays with second striker. Only Inter play with two strikers.
Well, we have played that at times this season, depending on the opposition. So, for example, when Alvarez came on against Manchester United, he played much closer to Haaland, for example, and that was a game where we didn't need the midfield as much because we were in total control, so it didn't matter. So he could play more advanced, and Alvarez's best positions this season have come from that second striker position. Shameless plug. I've done a video on it. You should go give it a watch about the differences between Alvarez in midfield and the differences between Alvarez at second striker. There is a big difference in terms of how many times Alvarez loses the ball, in terms of how many times Alvarez is dispossessed, in terms of the non-penalty XG Alvarez accumulates, in terms of the underperformance in respect of his expected assists. The stats are all more favourable for Alvarez when he's as a second striker rather than in midfield. Playing him there also means that you don't get to play someone else. I feel like a broken record, but Kovacic
has to start and Bernardo on the left. That's what you wanted.
Bernardo on the left, or Foden on the left, or whatever, or Oscar Bob on the left.
Or basically anyone else on the left that's not Julian Alvarez.
Gavardiol at left wing, a centre-back at left wing, I would have preferred, genuinely. It would have been better.
So what was all this talk about Julian Alvarez, Ballon d'Or contender and all this stuff? Is it because
because he had trophies? It's because he won the trophies. Right. That's the way the narrative's gone now. It's why Jorginho ended up being third in the Ballon d'Or. Julian Alvarez won these trophies, but at no point was he one of the most important players to winning those trophies. He was a part of them. He had moments in them. But Messi was the main guy for Argentina. Haaland and Bruyne were the main guy for City. Alvarez was a bit part player for City and a decent striker, but still the second option to Messi.
I love Alvarez, by the way.
Trophies don't define how good you are.
And I love Alvarez, by the way, but he can't be. You can't play him in the wrong positions. You can't play him in the wrong positions at the expense of other players as well. You can't play Alvarez at Anfield and clearly see that we don't have any control and then keep him on the pitch. I feel sorry for him because it's not his fault. He's not trying to give away the ball. He's not trying to have a bad pass accuracy. He's not trying to, put Rodri into a situation where he gets a yellow card. That's Pep's fault. And that's why I opened it by saying it's Pep who set us up to fail, quite frankly.
I knew we weren't going to play a great team. I knew the team that we were going to put out yesterday wasn't great. I knew that from the morning when Canati didn't pass his fitness test, and then Salah, he only got 20 minutes midweek, so he probably wasn't going to start anyway. And I was a little bit worried, and then I saw him playing Alvarez, and I went, we can get at that then. We can. I thought he was going to play Alvarez at centre mid, like he has done in the past, and not on the wing. But even if Alvarez was in centre mid, I still thought we were going to get at him and cause problems because he doesn't suit that position, and I don't get why he keeps playing. Is there a clause in the contract which states that he's got to start X amount of games because, you know, he thinks he's ready for that step or something? I don't know, but honestly, since about November time, I can't remember the last good game Julian Alvarez had where he wasn't up front.
I'm looking at this game, to be honest. I actually haven't done a video about the game or something. We did a match reaction yesterday, and I was looking at the game, and I thought there is a couple of things that are tactically, Jurgen Klopp was superior after the first 20 minutes. But also, I thought that and this is something that has nothing to do with coaching and everything. And Man City fans will be upset with what I'm about to say. But first, guys, there's over 400 of you here, and you keep spamming the chat. So at least like the video for Juventus. So like the video, just hit that like button. At least give me to 200 likes while you do this nonsense that you do, you bozos in the chat with you, Juventus bigger than Inter. So instead of just fucking spamming the chat, just fucking like the damn video. Astaghfirullah al-Azim ya Rab. I am in Ramadan. I'm fasting. I had to wake up early to eat suhoor. And now I'm waking up and I'm doing a show. So you gotta hit that like button underneath your live chat, right? For Juventus, for whatever, for Inter, for Man City, for freaking Liverpool, just freaking hit the damn like, right? Because the like button takes you to the next guy. I'm fasting. I haven't had coffee. I haven't had water. I haven't had food. So like the damn video. And if you don't know what fasting is, Google it, right? So you know what I'm talking about, right? Hit that like button. Get involved in the conversation at least while we do this video. For fuck's sake. I wanted to get a point about that the players of Liverpool looked like they wanted the win more than Man City. Man City surrendered. The players surrendered on the pitch. They surrendered to the marking. They surrendered to the tackles. They didn't fight enough. That's what I felt happened. That's what I felt, in my opinion, happened on the pitch. Tactics out of the way. Sometimes you'll have to just play like men, right? And I didn't think that they did. At some times, people were throwing arms up, who were giving up on tackles and stuff like this. So I don't know what you think of that.
I think people overestimate tactic. Like, I don't think there was much we didn't tactically innovate to pick apart Man City. We just created a horrible place to be. We were constantly on them, and the best players in the world will struggle when being pressed every single time they get the ball. Hence why I believe Rodri had one of his worst games I've seen in a long, long time in a City shirt. Because he didn't get support for one, because Bernardo and De Bruyne were just so far ahead of him that it was like, it's what we've criticised United for this season. The DM is left in a sea of his own because his midfielders have bombed on. I feel something like that happened to Rodri at times, where De Bruyne and Bernardo were so insistent on getting in the half space between our midfield and defence that Rodri was left alone and we would just catch him on the press. But we just wanted it. We just pressed. We harried. We harassed for 90 minutes. We were everywhere. Bradley, great work right up the right. Gomez, great work right down the left. Elliott, how he's still going, I don't know, because that is so many minutes he's played in the last 2.5 weeks.
Years old.
Yeah, but Mo, he's done 120, then 90, then 90, then 75, then 90, then 60, and then another 90 yesterday in the space of about 18 days. I know he's young, but it's mad. And yeah, it is a good point.
So now we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
But
keep going.
But look, I tactically there might have been one or two things. I'm not smart enough to figure out the intricacies of it. I just thought we played how we normally do, but we just pressed so high up, so heavily. The fans, the atmosphere was amazing, and that helps a long way. Ultimately, we done everything right apart from kick the round thing in the back of the net more than once. And that unfortunately happens.
Do you know why I know the tactics of Pep Guardiola worked, guys, in the first? Do you know that Virgil van Dijk and Kwanzaa switched places in the first 15 minutes for about 5-10 minutes. Virgil van Dijk. I'm not sure if that was by design. I'm not sure if that was by design.
I know what you're about. I think that was something that I noticed. We basically, because it was often from City's when Ederson received the ball, so City'd start building up from the back.
Yes.
Ederson would get the ball and they send it up to Haaland. That wasn't Van Dijk switching onto Haaland per se. That was just we pushed Gomez into centre back when Ederson.
That was Van Dijk trying to cover the Julian Alvarez side and the Bradley side.
No, not even that. I don't even think it was that. I think it was just a lot more simple. Van Dijk beats everyone in the air. So he basically gave Van Dijk the cover with Gomez and Endo. And then basically said to him, go be like a little dog. Go chase where that ball's going to land and win that header. And we'll just keep the pressure up. Because, yes, he ended up on the side that Kwanzaa normally does. But he was practically on Kwanzaa. He was just, he didn't have a man holding him back or trying to pick him up. So it was quite smart a little bit to just give him that free rein from them kicks to just keep the pressure sustained. Because it wasn't like, because once he headed it, he went back to that position. Just like Gomez covering for a little bit. So it wasn't like a conscious switch because he played on the left for the whole game, especially in the build-up.
Yeah.
But I did like seeing it where Van Dijk basically was just told, the moment they kick it long, you have free rein to go and win that ball.
Yeah. Andros saying, if Arsenal beat City, is that City third favourites? Listen, if Arsenal beat City, I think that's City 4 points behind Liverpool. That's City probably third favourites by a big margin, a little bit, by a little bit over 4 points. If City lost yesterday, they should have. They would have been third favourites by far. Nobbins, I wanted you to talk about the big players. Kevin De Bruyne. Second half was absolutely atrocious. We actually Googled, all of us, the passes he completed. It turned out to be he completed 3 passes in the second half in 25 minutes. He was hiding. He wasn't asking for the ball. He wasn't leading the midfield at all. Are you disappointed? I'm not asking you to slack Kevin De Bruyne. I'm just asking you what happened. Why was Kevin De Bruyne not involved at all in the second half? Is it down to him or is it Pep? You couldn't control the ball, but at least you need your big players, because we blame Odegaard, we blame Saka, we blame Foden. A lot of Man City fans and a lot of rival fans blame Foden when he has a bad game. Salah and all the other stuff. When Van Dijk, you remember Van Disney last season? You needed Kevin De Bruyne in this game. You definitely needed him, but he was subbed out. He had this whatever argument with Pep, which is, I understand. People want to play. He wanted to continue. What do you think about that? Is that Kevin De Bruyne in a game like this, you needed him to do more than this?
De Bruyne, Alvarez, Haaland, Foden, Bernardo. 4 vertical players and 1 horizontal player at Anfield. That's why De Bruyne was basically ineffective for the majority of the game. Because we had no control. All we had was Bernardo, who didn't have a good game in his own right. Outside of that, we've got, as I say, in our attack, 4 very attack-minded players whose first thought is to go forwards. Which is fine, but there is no balance there. There is no balance in that team. And it comes to what I said before. That's why Kovacic had to be in that team. What Liverpool did was very clever. When they had the ball, Endo would bait Bernardo's press, and Bernardo would just go running in, and that would mean that Rodri would be left isolated on his own to try to deal with Szoboszlai and MacAllister, and also Bradley/Elliott when they inverted, and even Gomez when he inverted, which is an impossible task to give anyone. That's why I say that we were set up to fail. Even when we had the ball, you look at like the average positions of Rodri and Stones, they are far too close to one another and not spread out from one another. And that's partly by Liverpool's design in respect of how they pressed us. But at the same time, that positioning, that stagnant positioning, makes it much easier for them to press if you're closer to one another, because there's less space to work with. I mean, you can basically, like the term is, you throw a blanket over the midfield, and that's exactly what it was. We needed someone who was more than capable of dropping back and helping with the build-up because we were getting overrun in midfield and just generally. It was very, very clear for everyone to see. De Bruyne was very bad. Yes, he was. I disagree with the substitution, though, because De Bruyne is the sort of player who...
He only needs one moment.
Exactly, and we even saw that from the goal, to be fair. Like, I know that was like that was worked on the training ground. He only needs a moment, in the same way that I don't think Salah played particularly well when he came on. However, he put in an unbelievable ball, which should have been an assist. This is what your world-class players do. That they can bail you out in these instances. They cannot play well for like 85 minutes of a game, but then they put in a world-class finish or create a world-class chance. So the fact that we took him off, I think, was the wrong decision. I think that we should have given him more support by bringing on Kovacic, which was the correct decision, too little too late. And then Doku came on, and it was a bit of a mixed reception how Doku played. I know he hit the post, and that was fine. He gave away the ball too much for my liking in a time where we couldn't afford to give away the ball. But I don't think it's a coincidence that as soon as Kova came on, we actually created a couple of decent chances again through that left side, which you alluded to, Mo, which is correct, because as good as Liverpool were, there were gaps to exploit, and we did exploit them early on because Bradley pushed on really high and Gomez also pushed on quite high. They basically had two at the back at times. So there was space to run into, but you had to get past the first obstacle of, can you get out of that press? If you can get out of the press, then you're in. And it happened a few times in that first 15 minutes. So we had to double down on the control in that moment. We had to bring more players back to get out of the press and then trust our transitional players, De Bruyne and Haaland, to do the business. That happened only a couple of times. That really good 1v1 between Van Dijk and Haaland, different question marks about who got the better of that battle. But the fact of the matter is that it did lead to Haaland being in a decent position where he could get a shot away. Those are the sorts of things that we had to try to take advantage of, but we just crippled ourselves and failed to do that. And by the time that was remedied, the game was gone, the control was lost, and Anfield were popping off as you'd expect them to in a game of that magnitude.
Tom wanted to, like, a couple of things before we go on to the actual more like questions that are out there. Luis Diaz yesterday, MacAllister yesterday. How did you spoke about Luis Diaz yesterday?
Yeah, I thought Luis Diaz was one of our best players, bar kicking the round thing in the back of the net. Mm-hmm. I think everything outside of that poor finishing, he was brilliant. I've rarely seen a player run Kyle Walker ragged. Kyle Walker can normally hold his own, and I know he's not been great this year, but he normally can hold his own across a game. Kyle Walker looked lost at times. I remember the moments, the one that's been going round of Diaz just running straight down the left. He drops Rodri, he drops Walker, and then ends a corner. The energy he had and the creativity he gave us and that drive to get forward was great. And yes, the chances that he missed need them to go in, especially in a game like this. But I am not going to now suddenly go, Diaz is crap, Diaz is this, Diaz is that, wah. I liked what he done. I know he's not a great finisher. And the chances fell to the wrong people yesterday. But I've seen wingers this year, or wingers in the past for us, who have also been crap finishers. At the end of the day, that's one of Diaz's best games this season in terms of an overall product. He was so important to what we've done. I think another player who had a good game, apart from putting the round thing in the back of the net, was Darwin Nunez, but I don't think he really had the chances to, because he kept standing offside and kept running just
for some reason. The guy's lazy to come back from the offside. I don't know why.
I think what it is with him, yesterday especially, he just got too into the atmosphere and was trying to do everything at 100 miles an hour when we just needed a little bit of composure. And he didn't have that yesterday, which was annoying, but he still had some really good moments, played a good ball through to Luis Diaz, which couldn't be converted. But look, MacAllister and Endo especially, the pair of them two, MacAllister and Endo, absolutely ridiculous
I had an
Them two
argument
ran that
yesterday about
midfield.
MacAllister. Why is MacAllister not included in the best midfielder in the league this season?
Oh,
Why not?
he's got to be him and
if we have Rice, to be honest with you, if I have Rice as the most consistent one, because Rice started the season well and he's still going well. MacAllister a little bit struggled in the beginning of the season in the DM role, but now he is. Declan Rice, to be honest with you, has been the outstanding one. I can't remember Declan Rice having a stinker in the Premier League, like having a bad game. When you say Declan Rice, you had a bad game. No game that Declan Rice that I can remember that had a bad game. I'm just being honest. And it didn't matter if he played 8, if he played 6, it didn't matter. He might not have a 10 out of 10 every game, but he's giving you a 7.5.
He's a 7 and an 8 every game. And then
he gives you that game of a 9.5 or 10. Does that make sense? Like, he does this.
Rice is undoubtedly there. I think Rodri as well has to be put in. I know I said he didn't have a great game yesterday, but across the whole season, Rodri has been massively important, hence why City lose when he's not there. If you want to count Foden as a midfielder, then Foden gets in there as well. Beyond that...
No, Foden is more of a Kevin De Bruyne, like attacking midfield, you know what I mean?
So if we're not counting these attacking midfielders, then I'd say Endo and MacAllister have to be in serious consideration. Endo as well, yeah, for 3rd and 4th.
Wow.
And I think people underestimate what Endo's done. I know he didn't start. He came in and then he had a pretty. He
didn't start in the beginning, Tom. So I'm not gonna be able to include him. Like, this is called recency bias now. Like, the consistency has to be something here.
Yeah, but he's played 14 games for us and he's been boss in 13 of them. Like, and I can't. Yes, he hasn't had as long, but the performances he's put in for us have been ridiculous. He's played against Declan Rice, and that is the closest I think a midfielder in a head-to-head battle has got to beating Rice. I think Declan Rice been that good all season that Endo was the player who got closest to besting him. Against City yesterday, I thought he was absolutely exceptional. Won his duels, won his 50-50s, and was, as Nobbins said, fantastic at setting everything we wanted to do in the build-up up because he would bait the press.
Yeah.
And Bernardo would run, and De Bruyne would run, and he would just spin and lay it off. Endo does a job perfectly for us, and for 16 million, maybe not midfielder of the season, but for signing and value of the season, Endo has to be in consideration. Endo has to be in consideration for it. He has to be.
Maybe. Anyway, let me do the super chat because I want to have one more argument about individuals because I go to the go ahead.
He was less than a fifth of the price of Declan Rice. And he's not been better than Declan Rice,
if you want to
but he's
include
been
the
very
price
good.
tag, yes, probably pound for pound. You can include the price tag.
I just think, and obviously I didn't touch on that.
But when the voting happens, that doesn't come.
No, I mean, like, in consideration, I just think Endo deserves a lot of credit this year. But
so let me ask you something, okay? And let me ask Nobbins something, and let me ask the chat something. I know Arsenal fans what they're gonna say. Okay, this is gonna be so awkward. This question, okay, for Arsenal fans. Would you take, if I'm giving you a budget of 110 million, would you go and buy Endo for 15 million, or would you go and spend all your budget on Declan Rice? Can Endo do a good enough job that you can invest somewhere else? I need like people in the chat to just let me know. Rice or Endo, including the price tag. I'm not saying that Endo is anywhere close to Declan Rice this season. That's my opinion. Would you go, Nobbins? You have a team, you manage a team. Would you go and spend 110 million on Declan Rice? And I'm talking about this one season only. Don't worry about like what's coming. Or would you get Endo for 15 million?
Rice.
You still get Rice.
Yeah, definitely. Rice is Rice.
Can you explain it?
Because he's very good at football.
Arsenal needed Declan Rice. Declan Rice is a better football than Endo. I'm not going to dispute that. I just think.
Yes.
For what I'm just trying to remember.
The reason why I'm bringing it, if the price tag is not included at all, Declan Rice has been better than Endo.
Oh
and I don't think it's close because Declan Rice has been consistent for 28 games. Endo has played 14 games, so.
I think if Arsenal win the league,
it's not even close.
If Arsenal win the league, I think Rice will win Player of the Season.
100%, and I said that 100%. I have no doubt about this actually. But anyway, so I want to move on to
the way you should phrase it. I think the way you should phrase it, if you want to do this argument, is: would you rather? What was better?
You
for the
ask
teams?
us the question. Go ask us the question.
Declan Rice to Arsenal for 105 million was what they needed, but Endo for 16 gave us the opportunity to spend the money on MacAllister and Szoboszlai, which I think as a midfield three have made us infinitely better, because our midfield three was the reason we were fucking wank last year. Now we are in a position where we can be title challengers because of what all three of them do together. So for Arsenal, Rice was the guy, and Arsenal fans rightly should say we needed what Rice gives us over what Endo gives us. But for us, Endo's value and the way he was just the way he's performed whilst not costing loads of money has freed us up to allow us to do everything else. I prefer Endo to Caicedo. I'll be honest. I think Endo as a player is better than Caicedo. Caicedo was obviously younger, so he could get better. But Endo is a better footballer than Caicedo.
Wow. Okay, let me do the super chat. A big up to my guy here, Edward, of course, Edward Joseph, for a good donation, a good super chat, a big one. Thank you. W is for my guy, Edward, to be honest, for supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Hang in this, Mo. Sundown, not far off. It's very far. It's 10 in the morning. The sun sets at 7:30. I felt that there is no difference in the intensity of Liverpool in both legs, but this is Anfield, got to City. Kudos to them for the draw. Their goal was a masterclass. Advantage Gunners till the Etihad decides. Before I go to this, and Edward, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. And thank you everybody that's sending super chats to the channel, getting involved in the conversation. I want to know what you guys think, and I want to know what you guys ask questions. Let us know what you guys think. This is how you use a super chat like this. I actually think the difference here is exactly this is Anfield, which is what we mentioned before, is that it looked like Liverpool players just wanted it more. They just were first to every tackle. They wanted the win more. And that's what this is Anfield is the crowd, is the energy and everything. But I want to have a conversation. I don't know if I'm starting an agenda or not. To be honest with you, I might be starting an agenda, right? And I'm not the biggest fan of Darwin Nunez. This season, Darwin Nunez has 17 GA. Erling Haaland has 23, including 3 penalties. Darwin Nunez win the penalties, but don't take the penalties sometimes. Darwin Nunez has, without the penalties, 3 more GA less than Erling Haaland. Everything is built for Erling Haaland to score a goal. Darwin Nunez, it's not built for him. Is there a conversation to be had this season at all?
First of all, let's just appreciate people. We are on a historic moment here. We have seen the biggest 180 from Mo I have ever seen. The first 4 episodes of this were me and him arguing about Darwin Nunez, and now he's backing Darwin Nunez. This is wonderful to see.
I am not. I did a reaction to Mo Salah's interview yesterday, and Mo Salah said exactly what I've been criticizing Darwin Nunez for. He said Darwin Nunez doesn't like the ball to feet. He's different than Gakpo. He's different than Firmino. He's different than the players he played with before. He said he had to adapt. He had to watch him in training. And the Liverpool, I know, doesn't play the ball behind for long balls unless you're playing City or something. Liverpool normally suffocate the other teams. Does that make sense? So I still have the same idea. But Darwin Nunez, I'm not going to sit here and be stubborn and tell you anything. Darwin Nunez is delivering, isn't he? Won the penalty yesterday. He's scoring goals. And did you see the 2 goals he scored against Sparta Braun? So I just want to understand if that is a conversation or not. I'm not asking. I'm not saying it is. You guys are here and I want to know. I'm telling you, by the way, the difference in the difference in the XG between both in comparison with their goals is exactly the same. 13 XG for Darwin Nunez, 10 he scored, 18 for Erling Haaland, and he scored 15, if I'm not mistaken, or 21, he scored 18, something like this. 21, and he scored 18. Erling Haaland misses more chances than Darwin Nunez because he gets more chances. So I want to know if there's a conversation this season. I'm not talking about overall. This guy scores in Champions Leagues. This guy won a treble. We aren't here in a session to compare the achievements of both or the treble. I want to know if there is a conversation. People in the chat, yes or no? People in the chat, is there a conversation to be had this season between Nunez and Haaland? Just this season. Don't give me bullshit like articles. This season, is there a conversation to be had this season between Darwin Nunez and Erling Haaland? It's very simple. Let me know. Nobbins, you can start by... Don't be shy. Just you can start.
I don't think there's a conversation, so why would I start one?
You don't think there's a conversation. So everything I said doesn't ring a bell in your mind?
No.
So why? Can you, at least you have to give me an answer. Why?
Just...
I know it's awkward. I know it's awkward. Listen,
you know what it is?
The fact is, Nobbins,
right. It doesn't sound like, does it?
The fact, Nobbins, the fact that you are thinking about it and you're saying
no, I'm not thinking about.
You have to give me an argument why it's not a conversation. I gave you an argument why it can be a conversation. Difference in GA without the penalties, more chances missed by Haaland. The team is built around Erling Haaland to score. Darwin Nunez, the team isn't built. He was shafted to the left as a left winger. He played as a forward. He played in a lot of positions. And Liverpool didn't have the strongest team. I just want to understand. You can explain to me. You can convince me that, Mo, we can't have this conversation for 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want your argument. Otherwise, I'm going to let Tom speak, and he's going to tell us there's a conversation.
Well, I don't think Tom would make that argument either, to be fair.
I'm not.
No, yeah. I'm actually of the opinion that Haaland has been playing better football this season compared to last season. I appreciate that he's been missing more chances this season. There is no doubting that. But I watch every single minute of every single City game, and I can tell you that there is much more to Haaland's game this season compared to the last. Yes, the finishing is worse. I don't know the all comps numbers in terms of XG.
I don't go to all comps because it's not fair. I don't go to all comps because it's not a level playing field.
Certainly in the Premier League, he's underperforming in respect of expected goals. So yes, this is his first season where he's done that since he left Mulder at the age of 18. However, every other aspect of his game has gone up a level. And this is why I don't bother having conversations with people who think that all Haaland can do is score goals, because that just tells me that you either don't watch City's games or you don't understand football quite. And that sounds very arrogant of me, but I don't want to have football and conversations with people who think that, because that tells me that you've got nothing of value to say, quite frankly. Not you, Mo. People who argue that all Haaland is his goals. Again, that just tells me that you're not in the right sport. Yeah, I think Haaland's actually been better this season, quite frankly. I like Nunez a lot. I thought that Darwin Nunez was man of the match yesterday, to be fair. I've backed Nunez since when everyone else was rattling on Nunez in pre-season. I was defending him, saying give him a chance. I think I've defended Nunez a lot on this channel as well. But to go that far, it is a bit insane, to be honest.
Nunez has improved a lot this year. I didn't expect Nunez to be this kind of striker. I thought he could have done it, hence why after Ajax, where I think it was September last year in his first season, I came out and said that Nunez has the potential to be one of the most complete strikers in the league because of everything he has. And this year we are getting closer to that. He's involved in all aspects of the game. But the thing with Haaland is I think Haaland could be a complete striker. It's just City benefit when he isn't because of the players behind. They don't need a striker who wants to get involved with the link-up because they've got 4 really good midfielders who do that themselves. They need someone to push that defence back and crash the box, which is what Haaland does very well. Liverpool need a Nunez more than we need a Haaland, which is why we have Nunez and why he's so good for us. I don't think it's a case where if you put them in the other team, they would do the same things. So for us, Nunez has been massively important this year. I think in the Prem, he's got 10 goals, 8 assists, I think, which is very good numbers. He's played limited minutes. He's been chucked in different positions. I have a lot of time for Darwin Nunez, and I think that a lot of the disrespect and credit that he doesn't get is
He has 10 goals, 7
wrong.
assists. Erling Haaland has 18 goals, 5 assists.
Yeah, look, Haaland is in front of goal. Even with the chance he misses, he scores enough to go, yeah. There's not really a contest there, but Nunez for us, because we have a Mo Salah, because we've had Diogo Jota, we don't necessarily need a striker who is crashing the box and finishing all the time. We need someone to be an all-round threat, and that's what Nunez is. And could Haaland be that? I reckon another club he could be, but I'm sure Nobbins can disagree if he feels otherwise. Man City don't need him
to be complete, not can be the complete. I'm talking about this season. I'm not talking about next season. I'm talking about what I'm seeing in front of me now.
Well, yeah, but it's asking me to compare strikers who have different roles.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted someone to finish the season, I'm going Haaland, because even though he's missed the chances, he's scored more goals. If I wanted someone to be the striker when I've got a Salah or I've got a Saka, I'd go Nunez, because I think he's a more all-round forward who's been used in that all-round way this season. Whereas City needs someone to just crash the box and sit in there and try and bury the chances, because they've got De Bruyne, they've got Foden, they've got Bernardo. They don't need another body getting involved. Too many cooks ruin the broth, or whatever the fucking saying is.
Also, Haaland's link-up and hold-up play is very good, by the way. Like, there's this myth that Haaland can't link or pass or hold up, or as I say, connect offensive plays and drop deep, because he can
I remember him
very easily and very well.
Year.
Okay, Nobbins,
Arsenal,
Haaland completes 9 passes. Nobbins, just
that's
stats.
fine. That's
fine. Only
9.
The guy completes 9 passes per 90 minutes, Nobbins. So he doesn't get involved as much.
That's fine. But
I know that in the long balls sometimes he gets involved, but Nobbins, he doesn't. It's not enough.
No. You're conflating quality with quantity.
You're talking about the 9 passes are the 9 passes. This is it on the money. 9 passes on the money.
Nearly every single time Haaland links up play or holds up play and connects play, it works. So yes.
Oh, right, then.
It doesn't matter if he only does it twice.
I can't
if it happens every single time,
that.
and it happens every single time, doesn't it? It's like people look at Alvarez and go, oh, Alvarez is better at linking play and holding up play. No, he isn't. Alvarez is a far inferior passer of the ball and link-up player compared to Erling Haaland. By far, it's not even a conversation worth having. You can throw touches and passes stats at me if you'd like to, but I watch the games and I know that every time Haaland does it, it comes off.
City, like I said, City probably don't want Haaland to link up constantly, because then that takes away.
Depends on the game, doesn't it?
I remember Arsenal last year at the Etihad. He was told he's got to link up, and I can't remember. It was Gabriel on him because Saliba was injured. Gabriel was trying to be touch tight to him, and every single time Haaland was winning the flick-ons. I remember the first goal Kevin De Bruyne scores comes from a Haaland winning the aerial duel, holding Gabriel off, and then passing it on to him. He can do it, but I just don't think Pep Guardiola wants to use that side of his game as much compared to us, who need him to do that, who need Nunez to be this all-round threat that he is in terms of linking up and being this box threat a little bit deeper, because we've got a Diogo Jota and a Mo Salah either side of him who are better finishers, and we'd rather see take the shots.
Okay, here's the question before we move on to the title race, actually. Here is the actual question from Mo. Here is the Mo agenda is loading now. Erling Haaland plays striker. He scored a lot of goals this season, 18 goals, had 5 assists. But Nunez did the same. If you have one player to choose, and I want the chat to answer this, if you have one player to choose to go into your squad for one season, which is this season, based on this season, it's not about going forward, it's not about the coming year, it's not about the last year, it's about this year. Nunez actually is better than Haaland in terms of passing and the number of passes and getting involved and all the stuff and chances created for his teammates. Who would you choose? Erling Haaland or Darwin Nunez? I know that the Haaland name is great. Who would you choose this season? Based on this season, Nunez or Haaland? It's only this season.
For my team, for Liverpool.
See, the difference is not for Liverpool. Who would you choose?
Nunez. For City, I would choose Haaland.
You know what that tells me, though? That it is a conversation.
It is
because your answer in the beginning, everyone's answer was, "It's not a conversation. It's not a conversation. It's not a conversation." But if I'm asking you, for example, would you choose, suppose, like Kevin De Bruyne? Everybody would choose Kevin De Bruyne. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what your team is. It doesn't matter who your team is.
If anything, Haaland would be better at Liverpool than City.
See, that's what I'm talking about. People don't understand. If I ask Man City fan, if I ask Nobbins, who are you taking, Van Dijk or any of his defenders? Okay, logically for Man City, I would say Van Dijk. I don't know his answer. I'm not going to answer on his behalf.
He's going to say Man Malakanji or something.
No, but my point
Kyle
is,
Walker.
Once you start saying, for my team, this player, for that team is this player, and it's not, what is it called, Nobbins? There is a word for abstract. It's not, you know the word? It's not, like it's not a given. It's not like
it's not a certainty.
Given. It's not certainty that it doesn't matter what the team, like for Leo Messi, for example, it doesn't matter who your team is. You are choosing Leo Messi. Like there is no Leo Messi works best for this or Leo Messi works best for that. Once we start saying Nunez works best for Liverpool forward line, and I'm comparing two forwards that the majority of the time played as a center forwards, both of them, by the way. This notion that Nunez played left wing, he played 6 games as left wing out of the 24 games he played. If that's the case, that means we are having a conversation about it. We're actually discussing it. But it can be depending on the coach of the team.
Do you want me to be honest, Mo? I'll put it this way: if we take City and Liverpool out the equation and go Arsenal, which striker would you rather have in your team? Haaland,
but they need a striker. They need a number 9.
They go for Haaland. If we go to Tottenham, who do you want? They go Haaland. If we go to United, who would they want? They'd want a Haaland.
Yeah, because all these teams lack a number 9.
Yes, but that's the point. Nunez is good for the specific setup we have. Because we have these goal scorers around him, Nunez excels at that. So, other teams wouldn't take him. The conversation is in his position, in the right environment, Nunez is making this a conversation. But every other team in the league is going to take Haaland because he doesn't need other players around him to make him work in the same way. I think that's the only thing I'd say. Nunez, I would 100% have Nunez for Liverpool. But I think Liverpool is the only side which...
No, but don't you think Nunez is more versatile? Play a striker, can play left wing, can play on the sides. He can link up with if you have another striker.
I thought we were just asking who do you want to play up front?
Oh, okay. No, but I mean Nunez is up front, but he's different, to be honest. I don't like him as a striker that much, to be honest with you. I actually don't. I think he's a left winger. But the last point, Nobbins, you wanted to say something about why Haaland would thrive at Liverpool.
He would. Well, I mean, I know Jamie Carragher infamously said last season he may have picked the wrong team. Obviously, he's wrong because City won the treble, whatever. But he sort of has a point in that we are the least Haaland team to exist, if that makes sense. If you think of what Haaland's strengths are, they are being very direct, and I say it a lot, being very vertical.
Off the shoulder of the last man.
Pardon?
Off the shoulder of the last man, waiting to get on the end of long balls. And
absolutely. Thriving on being direct, thriving on being transitional, and just being able to run into space and charging at opposition defenders. If you know anything about Haaland, that is what he is. We don't really do a lot of that at City. So that's where Carragher's comments came from. So it's sort of right and wrong. And what I've just described there is much more of a Liverpool style of play than a Manchester City style of play. I'm not saying that Liverpool are, just pump it up forwards to Darwin Nunez. I'm not saying that at all. But if you had to say which is a more sort of direct, quote, chaotic team, one more reliant on, transitional football, Liverpool or Man City, obviously the answer is Liverpool. So I think that Haaland would probably be even more deadly or more optimally utilized. Pardon?
More like effective, maybe, to see.
Yeah, exactly. More optimal at Liverpool. Because I think he's basically like the perfect Klopp striker. To be honest, that's why I think that he would work a lot better.
I want to move on from this. And Mo Philip, thank you so much for the support. Mo is corrupt fraud judge. KDB playing like Nobbins. I don't understand what you mean. Are you slagging Nobbins or you're praising
I'm not good at
KDB?
football, to be fair, so he's probably slacking off to Bruyne.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Philip. Jay saying Mo to the agenda. Haaland missed 2 months and still. And by the way, Haaland played more minutes than Darwin Nunez in the Premier League. Just to put that out there. I literally just checked that.
Nunez has missed games through injury this season as well. I think he's missed 2. Well, he's on the bench.
Darwin Nunez played 1,500 minutes. Erling Haaland played 1,900 minutes. So there is a big difference between both, actually. So that's why the GA per 90, Darwin Nunez is better. But anyway, it is what it is. It's a conversation. The fact that we sat here and having a conversation doesn't mean it's Messi versus anyone else. It's just a conversation. CG Arsenal is saying, Q for Tom, do you think we are contenders? Which leads us to the next topic, the title race. How does this
you want me to answer that question? Yeah,
it's a yes.
I think 100% you saw, and just real quick on it as we go at this point, I've seen a lot of the narrative that
what
the Arsenal's results against Brentford was a bad one. It shows a different way of winning. It shows a different way of winning, which I think is massively important. Yes, they've done really well with the 7-0s and the 6-0s and the 5-0s and battering teams. But you've just shown that even when the going's against you, you've still got that mentality and you're still able to find the way to win, which is important in this stage of the season. I don't think Arsenal are going to win every game to end the season because that will be mental. But yes, 100% Arsenal are contenders and could go on a very good run to end the season.
All right. So before we move on, there is Constantinius is saying, thank you so much for everybody sending super chats and supporting the channel, guys, and get involved. Unpopular opinion, rather have Alexis MacAllister than more penalties. I actually don't think this is an unpopular opinion.
Oh, no, 100%. I'd rather have Soberstein, I'd rather have MacAllister. Salah takes shit pens. I've always maintained that his penalties are not good. Salah doesn't take good pens. They're always in the wrong position. He's taken some very good pens. I remember him putting one in the top left corner against Arsenal a couple of years ago now. That was a really good pen. Some of them he puts in the side netting. But then there's other ones which go straight down the middle or in the right position for a goalkeeper to save, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. MacAllister, I've watched him take so many pens which are right in the corner or in a horrible spot for a goalkeeper to save. And look, on his penalty yesterday, may sound a little bit harsh. You could see Edison had injured his right leg in that whole thing.
And he went to the right, of course. So
he just put it on that side so he didn't have the same jumping power. It's stuff like that which matters. And I think MacAllister 100% has to be in a situation where he's the number one penalty taker, because I felt so confident with him at the spot there. He just exuded confidence. He didn't look like he was going to miss.
Yeah. We have over 500 people here. I want to get to 300 likes minimum, people. At least live on the show. We have 550 people. I want to get to 300 likes, people. The like button's underneath the live chat. This is going to be the saucy part of the show. Because Nobbins said something about he wants to revise his title contenders or title favorites after this weekend. Go ahead. So, guys, and this is what I want you to get involved, people. I want you guys to let me know what you think. I want you to challenge what we say. Go ahead, Nobbins.
Right. So my top 3 since the start of the season has been City top, Arsenal second, Liverpool third. And I've been maintaining that. I think I was within my right to maintain that, to be fair. I thought that we had sort of turned a corner after the mistakes of the Chelsea game in respect of setup. Because then we played, I thought we had good games against Luton, most of it against Bournemouth, Brentford, Man United. I've got zero confidence that Pep's going to make the correct decisions in respect to the lineup, because we aren't learning. He isn't learning. So I think City are going to finish third. Now, I actually don't know if it's going to be Arsenal or Liverpool, to be fair. It all boils down to the game between Arsenal.
Gun to your head right now. Gun to your head right now. You got to pick one or the other. Who are you picking? We don't do fence split. We don't do fence sitting here. You're not getting splinters in your arse today. Which one are you going for?
Arsenal.
I knew you were gonna. I said it before
That's
the
why
season. He's not going to give up on it. He's not going to give up on Arsenal.
I wanted to wait until the Arsenal game, because if we beat Arsenal, then I'll probably say Liverpool. But I've got no faith that is going to happen.
Do you reckon you beat Arsenal? Do you reckon Pep learns off today
what?
make decisions?
No, because he'll play the wrong team. So no, we won't.
You think Arsenal can go to the Etihad and win? Actually win?
We won't play the right team, so yes.
If Arsenal go to the Etihad and win, wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it will be crazy.
If Arsenal go to the Etihad and win, they're the favourites because they've done a double.
Why people lost their balls or something? Nobbins lost his balls.
I've lost.
What happened to people?
What I've done is I've lost my faith in
Pep Guardiola.
Pep's decision making this season. No.
Guys, in the chat, everyone. Pep, hashtag Pep out in the chat now.
No.
Hashtag Pep out. This is gonna be clipped and it's gonna go to Twitter. Hashtag Pep out.
No.
He's lost trust in his manager. He's lost trust and faith in his gaffer.
He literally said that.
This season, yes. This has been his worst season. No one can name me a worse season.
16-17.
That was his first year in England, where he had an average fullback age of like 32. He was working with Sanya, Kolarov, Zabaleta, and Clichy in a new league. I'm going to give him a pass for 16-17. This is his worst season. The mistakes I'm seeing: Alvarez in a pivot, Alvarez at left wing, Foden being played like Jesus Navas.
I thought you were just going to keep mentioning Julian Alvarez. Alvarez in the pivot, Alvarez on the wing, Alvarez in midfield, Alvarez.
No, it's not. No, Akanji playing as John Stones. Yeah, if someone, in fact, maybe that's a game. If someone in the chat would like to tell me a season where Pep has been worse from like a coaching / tactical perspective, please let me know. And I don't want to hear, oh, Pep knows more than you. Yeah, obviously, but that is not the same as you can't call them out when they've made a mistake. Otherwise, what you've done there is you've eliminated all form of criticism and analysis.
Let me ask you this, Nobbins. So you don't believe Pep Guardiola is going to pick the right team to beat Arsenal? What do you think the right team to beat Arsenal is?
The treble winning team. The only real difference is that you've probably got because Bernardo's not been playing well. You've got to play Kovacic instead of Gundogan, and you've got to play Foden in Bernardo's position. But the difference is you don't shove him out on the right. You do what we did against Newcastle, where it was
the fluidity thing, which you constantly harp on about the fluid
exactly. Exactly, and go everyone go watch the Man United winner. What happens? Foden plays at left wing in that moment. De Bruyne plays left central midfield. Do they stick stagnant in those positions? No, they don't. They rotate, and that is how the goal is scored.
Nobbins, if you played Foden yesterday in the middle, you'd have less control, Nobbins.
No.
Why?
No. You have more control because you start Kovacic. That's the difference. It's not a case of Foden starts outright in the middle. It's a case of they are rotating.
How was your lineup gonna be? I'm sorry.
Well, Grealish is currently out, so I can't play him. But in that scenario, it would be one of Bernardo or Foden on the left.
So
based on yesterday's game in particular.
And who's on the right then? Who's on the right?
Well, one of Foden or Bernardo, left and right. But again,
so Foden not in the middle then.
No. It's not about nominal starting position. It's about interchanging. Foden nominally started at right wing against Man United. Did his goal come from right wing?
No.
Exactly. It's about interchanging and being fluid and rotating. That's when City's best.
And you think Pep told him no, don't do that yesterday?
Well, he clearly has. Clearly.
Yeah, because Foden wasn't trying to come inside. Foden was running down the line.
Yes, that's why Foden should leave and go to Arsenal.
Oh my God.
This is why.
Every single game.
Because Emile Smith-Rowe, a player who plays a similar position and excels in a similar position to Phil Foden, is doing so well.
You are thinking that if Phil Foden goes to Arsenal and plays in the middle, he won't excel.
I'm saying Phil Foden wouldn't play because MacAllister would just play Kai Havertz
So
again.
you think he's gonna bench
Foden's
him?
good enough. Foden's good enough, but he prefers the balance of Havertz, Odegaard, and Rice. Obviously,
That's bullshit. He's definitely playing Foden in the middle.
Paul Smith.
Do you think Foden is better? Okay, so hold on. Let me ask you a question, and I'll ask Nobbins. Do you guys think Foden is better in the middle than Odegaard
this season or generally?
Position? Would you take Odegaard or Foden in the middle?
Generally, no. This season, yes.
All right. Okay.
You got to look at Odegaard's dropping a bit deeper this season, which I don't think is the position you want to put Foden into. Foden needs to be the advanced one. You want to have Foden in and around the box because he's so good there. But I just look at City and think that
but forget Foden to Arsenal. That's a joke, guys. I think it's a joke.
Pep's just lost what. I don't think he's lost it. I just think he's trying to find a new way to win when he doesn't need to.
That's what I mean. Like it's the formula's right there.
Do you think that will lose him the title this season?
Yeah, I think it already has. I think we are borderline. People are saying we are borderline past. Liverpool. Yeah, I know. Technically, we're not past the point of no return, but we are in we're getting to mid-March, and the solution, which is so obvious, still hasn't been deployed.
I think that the worry with City is by this point you just normally see them kick into gear with the long runs, and you can see that they're just playing at a
level. They're unbeaten in 13 games.
Yeah, I know, but
the performances aren't there.
Yeah, and there was also that stupid period where we dropped loads of points. So it's all well and good being great now, but we weren't great before, and we're still not even great.
So
and we're still not great now. And we're still not great now. We were great against Manchester United. We're great against Bournemouth for 60 minutes. We're great against Brentford. We're great against Luton. Those are the only performances in recent history that I've been happy with.
So do you believe that this Man City isn't the same?
No, it is, and that's why it's frustrating.
Oh, but you think you can be better? It's your coach holding you back.
Yes. I don't buy that the tools aren't there for Pep to succeed. I think the tools are there. I don't think they're being used properly.
I just looked yesterday for the £100 million or £80 million defender that was supposed to be the next big thing, and I just couldn't find him.
Guardiola?
Yeah.
Guardiola's good. I don't know what that means.
Why didn't he start?
Yeah. Because Ake's a better 1v1 defender.
Oh, right. Okay.
I don't think
fair enough.
Guardiola's better when they want to build up properly out the back. When
why would you buy an £80 million defender to have someone, or that's the luxury? Maybe I don't support City, so I don't know that luxury to be able to afford that. But that's not my point.
He's also 21.
On the price. That's the thing. If they'd spent 30 million on him, people wouldn't look at it the same.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Of course, if they spent 30 million on him, I wouldn't be even questioning this. I wouldn't even bring it up.
But he's 21 as well. You got to remember that.
Yeah, he's young.
He's good. The problem is he's good. I see he's good.
Yeah, but right now he's not as good 1v1 as Ake.
Today. He's just way overpriced, as Tumbaline is saying in the chat. I think so. But let me do this
I just look
because we deviated from the title race talk. Ryan is saying, Tom, I don't know what. I know you take a lot of L's, but I'm backing you over Hussam. We have been right about things over him recently. VVD Premier League Player of the Season. If Liverpool win the Premier League, Virgil van Dijk will win Player of the Season.
Yes,
I think it's established.
It depends. It depends.
Probably.
It depends of what. If Mohamed Salah scored 50,000 goals in the last 10 games,
I don't think he needs to score 50,000. If Mohamed Salah comes back and starts winning us games again, then yes, Mohamed Salah should win it because the levels he's put up this season are very good.
Yeah,
Van Dijk has been very good for us this season, but Mohamed Salah could end the season with yet another clean sweep of golden boot and assists because he's not far off both.
Yeah, if Mo Salah gets the top GA and the top goals and assists in the league, yeah, he will win the freaking thing.
And that's not a knock on Van Dijk. This is the thing. People see me saying that and go, it means that you think Van Dijk's crap. No, I just think what Mohamed Salah's done this year has been very important to our success.
Yeah. Ryan is saying, to all MacAllister doubters, may your apologies be as loud as your disrespect. Indo, my warrior, what a player. However, Sabozlai let me not speak. Yes, Sabozlai was kind of strange yesterday. That header, he should have scored it. But I think MacAllister is a very good. I think he needs to be in the conversation with Rice and Rodri, especially if Liverpool win the league. If Arsenal win the league, I think it's not a conversation. But I got MacAllister has proven a lot of people wrong. But Endo helped him, and people just fail to say that a lot of times. People fail to say that. Having Endo as a DM helped MacAllister big time. Thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate your support in the super chat. Thank you so much, Ryan. Andrew is saying, hope Arsenal beat City. Then
City will be 4
City
points
might
behind.
be 4 points behind if Liverpool beat. Okay, hold on.
Right.
Say that again.
So he's going on about the next game. So if Arsenal beat City and we beat Brighton on the same day, both us and Arsenal are 4 points ahead of City.
And really, you're 5 points ahead.
Because we've got better goal difference.
Because you're ridiculously better goal difference. Yeah, exactly.
Because you've decided to stop winning games by lots of goals.
Yeah.
All the games that you do score a lot of goals in, you decide, fuck it, we'll just concede a load as well.
Yeah, hope Arsenal beat City, might be 4 points behind if Liverpool beat Brighton. Both, then it's the goal difference, in my opinion. I think if City lose to Arsenal, I think they're done. They're out. It's done. It's going to be, especially if Liverpool win, that's 4 points. I think you're done. You're done.
Do you think Pep, let's say you lose to Arsenal, do you think Pep just sort of goes Campo or bust now?
What?
He starts Champions League or bust. Do you reckon he just starts playing some weaker sides, potentially in the league, around Champions League games?
No, he won't give up. 4 points, he won't give up. He won't give up.
No, they'll still do it. And also, you need it from like a momentum and sharpness perspective. He'll still go out to win every single game with like the strongest side he can. But I think like as far as the likelihood is that would be lights out. Unless there's some ridiculous capitulation from both Liverpool and Arsenal, which is incredibly unlikely.
Yeah. Bob Mark is saying, MacAllister. I don't get what you want to say, but
he means MacAllister winning Liverpool Player of the Year. No. MacAllister's been good, but he's not been our best player.
Not a chance. Arsenal. Why do people wanna not like? Nobody wants to like. They waited for Arsenal to win 2-1, and the point you want to bring up is Kai Havertz should have been sent off. Kai Havertz should have been this. Kai Havertz should have been that. Why are we still doubting Arsenal? You remember I said that Arsenal will win every game. I predicted. I just saw no signs of them slowing down until they faced Manchester City. They are the best team in the league in the current moment. On form. They have cracked the code. Everyone is playing well for Arsenal. So why do people still doubt Arsenal? Why do you think that? I'm not asking if you doubt Arsenal. Why do you think people doubt Arsenal? Is it still they haven't done it. They haven't done this. They haven't done this.
Tom, why do you doubt Arsenal? Because I never did. Yeah. So Tom Little,
you have more faith in Mikel Arteta than Pep Guardiola. You heard it here first, people. I've started giving Arsenal praise because they're starting to really surprise me. I think they've been really good recently. I think that I don't doubt them anymore. But I think the reason why people might still doubt them is because it was this point last year where they were still flying and then it all went wrong. They want to see them prove them wrong there. I believe this is a vastly different Arsenal team from that time. They are a lot more experienced. They've got a lot better in terms of mentality and seeing out games. And it's, for me, the only reason why I say yesterday was not a bad result is on the basis that City go and do Arsenal at the Etihad. Should the other case go ahead, Arsenal deserves to win the title because they've done double over City. They've beaten us and got a draw at Anfield.
So is Arsenal the best team in the league? Best offense, best defense, beat both Man City and so they beat Man City?
Yeah, they beat Man City 1-0.
They beat Man City.
And then beat us 3-1.
And they beat you. So are Arsenal just simply the best team in the league? Just simply. Overall, 28 games in. Can we just say that?
Can we say because it's top of the table.
Well, I'm not going to say, you know the reason why I don't say top of the table? Because it changes from a week to a week based on goal difference and all blah, 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 all this stuff. So I'm not going to say that. I'm going to put it down to actual things. Like They beat both teams. They didn't lose to Liverpool. They have the best defense and the best offense, if I'm not mistaken, and the best offense by a big margin, by 5 goals. So they are simply the best team in the league this season.
They've answered a lot of questions, and yeah, you can probably put them there as the best team. But
so do we think they are favourites?
Based
if
on the
City were in
the
okay, let me ask you something. If City were in this place, if Man City were the best offense, best defense, top of the league, beat both Liverpool and thing, would you say they're favourites?
Again, no, it's hard to say. I looked at it this way. Who were Arsenal going to get in the next round of the Champions League because they'll beat Porto? And are they going to beat City? That's the 2 questions that are going around in my head that stop me from saying they're going to win this title. But they've answered a lot of questions this year. The issue is they still have tough fixtures left. They don't have the same level of fixtures that we do in terms of, playing low-end teams. They've got some tough games away from home. They've got some tough teams at home. It's going to be a tight run. It should be an exciting running, but it's going to be a tight running. And that's why I sit there and go, whoever they draw in the quarterfinal is going to have a massive impact. Because let's say they draw Real Madrid or Inter Milan, the 2 teams I think outside the Man City are better than them in the Champions League and are more so favourites for the Champions League than Arsenal. That could put a spanner in the works in terms of injuries and stuff, just because both those games will have to be played at such a high intensity. If they get, I don't watch the Champions League this year. Who's a crap team that's got through to the quarters?
Inter.
Not yet. We might be knocked out by Atletico Madrid.
I'm gonna give you that credit, Mo.
I'm not very.
Let's go Sociedad. I know they didn't go through, but like a team like Sociedad or a team of that ilk.
Sociedad went out. It's PSG. If you think PSG,
Dortmund are probably going to get through.
Dortmund, yeah. Who were they playing? PSV. Dortmund or PSV. Let's say they draw Dortmund or PSV. Then they'll be fine.
But if they were to draw, shut down the Champions League if that happens.
If they were to draw an Inter or a Real Madrid, I think that's the only thing that could really put a spanner in the works.
What about Barcelona? No. Bayern Munich? No.
Bayern Munich
have
maybe,
experience.
But they're a bit. Yeah, but Bayern Munich
experience.
You have to all know about the experience, Nobbins. You got knocked out because you didn't have experience in the Champions League. You know that. You know all about it. You waited years, spending billions.
Hold on. What experience? The
Bayern have experience.
No, not Bayern. Barca. I didn't say
Bayern have
Barca.
experience.
No, not Bayern. Barca.
I thought we were still
some
on
of
Barca,
these Barca players.
Barca in Europa last couple of years. That's their level.
But I'm not like no. Tom, when I said Bayern, he said like, yeah. I'm like, Bayern have experience.
No, Bayern's fine.
I thought you said Barca, but Bayern.
No, Barca. I said Barca, and I agree with you. If they face Barca, to be honest,
they beat Barca. Bayern is just a case of, are them players gonna figure out
Bayern
that
would be hard.
The league is gone, and then they just go full hell for leather in the Champions League, because that could potentially be it. But I still think Arsenal are a better team than Bayern.
I have a question
team overall
regarding this Arsenal team. It will trigger a lot of people. Let me do this. Starboy saying we're underdogs. Fuck's sake, Mo. I still, in most books, you are third favorites. It's still Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. I'm going by logic. And until this moment, my logic worked. I said Man City. It doesn't matter what players play for Liverpool, as long as they have Van Dijk and they have MacAllister, Szoboszlai, and Nunez, and Mohamed Salah is available for some time. I said Man City shouldn't go to the Etihad and be to Anfield and be favorites. And I'm gonna say it again: no matter how bad Man City are, right? Let's just establish something. Man City don't lose at the Etihad. People have to understand.
Unless you're Brentford, because Brentford might beat you.
Yeah, and they play in red. And who else plays in red?
No, come on.
And they have Ivan Toney.
A London team playing in red.
Your guys are frauds because I'm trying to be logical, and you guys are turning it into non-logical. I can do this.
Brentford have Ivan Toney. Who do Arsenal want to sign? Ivan Toney.
Oh my God!
Red and white, as Rehan say.
Brentford had a goalkeeper last time they beat Man City.
Who's Arsenal goalkeeper?
Who's Arsenal's goalkeeper? David Raya.
David Raya.
Oh, it's good. It's all coming together, isn't it?
Midfielder. Brentford have an injured midfielder called Josh Da Silva. Do you know who he used to play for before Brentford? Arsenal.
And Arsenal have an injured midfielder as well.
Yes, it's all lining up. Do you know what I need, though? Do you know what I need in the next round of the Champions League? For purely my enjoyment on this channel, I need Man City versus Inter. And I need Real Madrid versus Arsenal. I need that.
I want to face Dortmund next round.
I want to come onto these streams and listen to you and Nobbins argue about which of your teams should have won in the Champions League quarterfinals. That's what I want. I'll sit there with Karabag. I'll sit there with whoever's left in my crappy tournaments.
You are assuming that we'll beat Atletico Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitana. So
you better
that's not a given. Man City win
there
and struggle.
I'm assuming that you don't lose to
Man City found it very hard, and Man City were stronger
Man
than
City still won.
That was a horrible game.
0-0, and it was an absolute horrific game.
It was awful. I hated that game so much, man.
Man City won 1-0 like Inter at the Etihad. They won the Metropolitana, and it was.
We have gathered that we all hate playing Atletico Madrid in the Champions League.
It's one of the toughest teams to play. It's one of the toughest teams to play.
I remember that year where you played Atletico Nobbins, and it was
Jack Grealish hair pulled by Savage and
oh god, yeah.
I'm on about the home leg, because there was just this brilliant photo of the 5th minute where Atletico Madrid had everyone behind the ball.
Dude, it's horrific,
Man City were like halfway in the half.
Bro, they came to the San Siro in the last game. So we have the Inter have this thing. Italian coaches have this thing, which sometimes when we press, and we don't create enough chances, Italian coaches tell the other teams, here, you have the ball. Take the ball. You know what I mean? You try to go, Atletico Madrid didn't want it. They just take the ball. They just didn't want it. They didn't want to play football. They'll kick it back. I'm like, what is this? Anyway, Andrew here is saying, but I wanted to ask last question on the show before we end. And I want City versus Arsenal Champions League. I say that. If Inter do win the Champions League, and I said that, I want Arsenal to win the Champions League.
No.
100%.
I still find that the Champions League.
The absolute amazing content will create if Arsenal win that. If Inter don't win the Champions League, it will be absolutely amazing content. The internet will break. Arsenal fans will start talking to Liverpool fans and Manchester United fans saying, we're on the same table. We have a Champions League. That would be hilarious. That would be fantastic. And I am here for it.
No, hold on.
I'm here for the chaos.
No English club sits on our table when it comes to Europe.
Well, Man United already say they're better than you with 3 Champions Leagues only. So if Arsenal already say they have bigger fan base than you. Bro, I'm not talking about logic. Logic is out of the window. I am telling you, in the internet, and the fans will go crazy, right? If Arsenal win the Champions League, they will start chatting to people like they sit on the table with everyone else. It will be fantastic to see. I'm here for it.
And then the conversations will end the moment it's established that Man United and Liverpool still
have you ever entered a conversation with an Arsenal fan when it started? Arsenal fans always have something to say.
Mo, I don't even need to. All I will do if Arsenal win the Champions League and they start trying to go, oh, look at this, we're a bigger club than Liverpool. I will just pull up the list of major trophies won by English clubs, and it will be us top, United second, Arsenal third. I will leave that there.
When I do this with Arsenal, they still talk about other stuff. When I bring major trophies, and we aren't even on the same table in terms of league titles, European trophies, they say, no, we're a big club, we won the Premier League, and we have bigger fan base, and they say that. But anyway, listen. I wanted to ask one last question. Can Mikel Arteta dominate English football?
Yes.
Maybe. It depends on the managers that come in.
I've said many times I want Arteta at City in the future. I don't think it's going to happen. But I've said many times that I would really like... And I was saying this when he was struggling, by the way. I would have liked Arteta in the future at City.
No, but let me ask you this. I know it's like the other topic, but how long do you think Pep has left in England?
As long as he wants.
Obviously, you're not going to sack him, but how long do you think he's going to give? How many more years do you think he's going to have?
I think he'll do a clean decade, and I think that would mean
2027.
Yeah,
2026, 2026, because he came in 2016.
Yeah, so I think that he will do 10 years in total.
Why didn't we talk about Pep?
Because my point is, Arteta dominating English football depends on who Liverpool and Man City replace Pep and Klopp.
Hold on. So you don't think if Arteta wins it this year, can he win it again next year?
I think he could do, but I think if Pep lost a league title this year to Mikel Arteta, Pep would
He's
not
not
want to
losing it
lose
again,
a second one.
Yeah, I think that if
he's signing everyone.
I was going to say, I think if and in my opinion, when we don't win the title this season,
to Man City,
I think that I know that I don't know what the net spend was, whatever, but certainly for our standards in respect of signing ceiling raisers, I feel like we haven't really done too much of that in recent years. Obviously, there was Haaland, Ruben Diaz, but in terms of players who go immediately into the starting 11 and immediately go up a level, I feel like there haven't been that many in the past of three-ish years. So I think that in the summer there will be some big players coming into City. I think
basically we've poked the Manchester City bear because we have done better than them this season, and now they're gonna go out in the transfer market and just buy all the fucking players so none of us can have them. And
I think that's what will happen. Yes, I think that we'll see. I think it'll be similar to the 17-18 transfer window where we brought in 4 or 5 proper first teamers all at once. I think it might be a similar thing like that. Where
was that when you spent 200 million on fullbacks?
Yeah, that was when we brought Mendy, Walker, Edison,
Bernardo.
Bernardo, Laporte in the winter window, but still Laporte. Some other players who I can't recall. Did we bring in an attacker? We probably did. I'm not sure. But yeah. In my head, it's going to be
Mahrez was after 17.
Yeah, that was 18-19, wasn't it? Yeah. But in my head, it's going to be that sort of vibe of a transfer window.
If Man City lose the titles, they'll buy stars. They won't buy players.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
you won't buy projects. You won't buy prospects.
I agree.
You'll go get Kimmich. You'll go Kimmich. I need 3 years from you. The next 3 years, you play in the middle. You'll go get Musiala. You'll go get established.
It'll be it won't be Nunez. It won't be Nunez. Mateus Nunez. Kovacic,
it won't be Guardiola. It won't be these guys.
It'll be Paquetá. It will be Bruno Guimaraes. It will be that sort of ilk of player, I think.
I think Pep might go
unless you get charged.
Well, that's not going to happen for another.
Guilty.
That's not going to happen for another year or two, regardless.
Back on the transfers, I think Pep might go very domestic in his next big spending window because I think he just wants players who don't need loads of time to adapt. I think he wants players who can come in, just learn the system rather than learn the system and the league at the same time. So a Paquetá and the Bruno G, like you said, they just come in and they need to learn how to play Pep's way. They don't need to learn the pace and the intensity of the Premier League. And I think that the way Doku's been this year and the way Gvardiol's needed a bit of time this year, I think if Pep wants to win the league straight away, he's going to just avoid that middle step of, right, well, I need to bring in a player who needs time to adapt. And then he has to worry about maybe they're not adapting to the league quick enough. And then he's got to try and find solutions to that. So Paquetá, Bruno G, I think you could do with certainly an out-and-out winger. I do feel it on the right. I mean, not because I think Doku's on the left and then another out-and-out winger on the right. Someone who has a bit of pace down there, maybe. Definitely a new right back as well, because Kyle Walker, he's probably been a net negative for you this year in terms of points won and points
lost. Okay. Samuel here is saying Alonso and Edwards might have something to say. Yeah, absolutely. It depends. Depends who's Liverpool next coach.
We'd have to be smart. I think with us, it'd just be, are we going to find the same level of bargains as we did that time?
Yeah.
But we're bringing in the right structure for it. I'm very happy with the structure that we're going for. Michael Edwards wants to buy a lot of big clubs. And he chose to come back to us. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, 100%.
I just hope he makes the right decision on the manager and goes for Ruben Amorim.
This has been absolutely fantastic show, people. We kind of get a little bit ahead, but I love these shows. Mondays, they're one of my favorites, of course, with Nobbins and Tom. A lot of talk. And after the game yesterday, I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Guys, how do we have? And let me just do something. I'm going to end the poll and give you the results. I had a poll about who wins what and who's favorite. And the results are 30% Arsenal are title favorites now. Still Liverpool title 21. It's equal between the 320. Liverpool 29. It's equal between the 321. Man City are still have the upper hand the least. 17% only think that Man City have the upper hand. And that's out of 400 votes, people. And by the way, that's 500 votes. How do we have 500 votes and only 320 likes? That's unbelievable.
Shameful.
Why do you vote and not like the video? Just like the video before you go. Let's get to 350 people. Anyway, Nobbins' channel is in the description. Tom Little, who keeps saying, I'm going to do shows, I'm going to do shows, I'm going to do shows. But he doesn't because he's lazy.
Still not done them.
And he goes to the pub. That's what happens.
I do shows, by the way, because I'm not
Nobbins, by the way, guys. Now, subscribe to the channel because Nobbins does live all the time now. After the games, he has shows and videos and stuff. So live shows on Nobbins' channel. It's fantastic.
And just wait for the occasion he brings this over to his own channel.
And listen, I want each one of you. We're redirecting to Lee Gunner, and I want you guys to type this. I am just typing this. Just type to Ramsdale is great in Lee Gunner's chat and then move on. That's it. And then see if you want to continue or not. But we're redirecting to him. Thank you for everybody that watched us. Thank you for everyone that actually, you guys go see what Lee Gunner has to say. I think he's a fantastic channel as well. It's a different opinion than what you think. But yeah. Thank you, everybody that watched us. Appreciate you guys. And we'll see you guys soon. We're out.